Donald Trump is very angry with the Chinese. He blames the Chinese for his political fortunes at the moment.
The China virus.
The China virus, yeah. I mean, you're a student of American politics.
Yeah.
How do you think he's shaping up in November?
I think he'll win. I think he's going well, to be honest with you. I had a great friend of mine who's very high up in the Democratic Party of the United States contact me, and he said, "Oh, we're ahead 6 points over Donald Trump." But I looked up the situation with Hillary Clinton, and she was 12 points ahead at that time. So they're not doing it. Joe Biden's not doing as good as Hillary was at the same time. But I think when people are underestimating the violence in the United States, the lack of law and order, and I think that they realise that the Democrats and where people have died have been with Democratic governors. It hasn't been where there's been Republican administration. So I think you'll see Donald Trump surprise again. You don't want to believe the media, Peter, even though this is a great show. I certainly believe everything you say.
Let's talk about you personally, Clive. I mean, you're a larger-than-life character. Everybody in Australia knows who Clive Palmer is. What drives you? Well,
this country has been very good to me. I've got a strong commitment to Australia. My family's had a strong commitment. In the First World War, I lost my uncle. He died in the First World War. In the Second World War, we had people serving on the Kokoda Trail in Tobruk. I had 3 of my nephews end up as TPI pensioners after the Vietnamese conflict. My other nephew, Squadron Leader Martin Brewster, set up the infrastructure for Timor. All those people have done more than I could ever give to my country. So we've got a good country in Australia. However hard it is, or however difficult it is, we should protect it and defend it. And I'm really concerned at the moment that our federation's breaking up and the parochialism that's come about by people saying, I'm a Western Australian or a Queenslander, I'm not an Australian. That's why it's important that our Section 92 challenge is successful, so we can get the economy going again. Because when JobSaver stops and all this federal government help comes away, what's going to happen to our people?
What do you see as your greatest, or some of your greatest achievements?
Well, I think back in the 1970s, when we reduced the Labor Party to 11 members in state parliament when I was with the National Party, that was a pretty good achievement.
With Sir Joe?
With Sir Joe. I think it was a good achievement when we got government now and right for the national parties for 2 years. I think it was a big achievement for me when I was made a life member of the Liberal National Parties. It was another achievement when Australians elected me as a living national treasure in 2012. There was another achievement winning a seat in the House of Representatives on the first go, holding the balance of power in Australia. But certainly I take satisfaction with the last federal election, because that was a very important thing for Australia. And I don't think that the government would have been elected if it wasn't for us. First of all, we had 3.5% vote, which we gave to the government. They had 90% of those preferences. That counted in 20 seats. But moreover, we brought Bill Shorten back to reality. People could see what he was. And where would we be as a country today if we had the Labor Party in power and they'd spent that $1 trillion? There'd be no JobSaver. This country would be a wreck. And we've got to thank that didn't happen.